Right, so I thought I'd make a quick video here. Somebody was interested how an active stability system works. And so let me just look at this real quick. Why is that autosave? Okay. So let's spawn in the Homeship, but let's look at it first. So Homeship is very stable when using the crane. It allows me to load containers. I even was able to take a double stack container, two containers at once with the crane, and load it on this port bay here and have very little tilt on the Homeship. So a couple things about stability. So one thing is you can see it has a realistic amount of area underneath the waterline. So this area here, if we look underneath, so right here is where the engines are. So let's look at the floor. So you see where the floor is. So this is the floor of the engine bay. All right. So from here up, that's an accessible area. From here down, this is all stability system in one way or the other. It's there's fuel in here, there's water ballast in here, and there's the active stability system. So let's look inside. So this right here is the fuel. So if we look at our fuel spawner, it's spawning diesel in here. All right, this is not finished either. This is going to have baffles, essentially walls that segment this so that when it tilts, the fuel can't go all to one side. You know, if you had a half a tank of fuel and this started tilting to starboard, the fuel would all go to this side and it would exacerbate the tilt. There's also things like weight blocks in here to help weigh down the area. Now, if we go below that, this is water. So we can click on the spawner here. It's spawning seawater. So this whole area here is full of water. All right. So this aids in bringing the ship lower in the water. If we look at our center of gravity is below the waterline. That helps with stability as well. Last thing here is going to be the active stability system. So we're back in the water tank, and if we kind of peek through here, you can see there's a very large weight. This weighs in excess of 3 containers. I think it's like 8,000 weight. So if we look at this weight here, it's in its own compartment here. There are 2 linear tracks. So if we look up track, it's going to be these compact linear tracks and compact linear track extensions. They are going port to starboard, as you can see. And if we look inside the block itself, it has one of these heads in the middle. There's 2 of these heads in the middle, one on either side, one here and one here. And they connect to the block. And now the block is, as you can see, it's grayed out. So this section will move along with those linear bases, and it will slide port and starboard. And so what we do here is we connect this to a system. As you can see, it's a very simple system. It only has 2 inputs. So what it's doing is it's reading a tilt sensor, and it's feeding back to those linear tracks a speed to send the weight either port or send the weight to starboard. So if we look at that really quick, I did some testing, and this is, the numbers I found work well. So we have a set point, we want 0 tilt. And we have a tilt sensor comes in as our process variable. So we tell the PID, hey, I want no tilt, and it says, okay, well, you have a little bit of tilt. So then what it does is it uses these numbers of P value of 8, a D value of 2500, I value of very low, and it sends the weight in opposition to the tilt of the ship. Now this negative X here, that's just there so that in the event that it was backwards, you can put in a negative X and we'll slide the opposite direction. All right, so let's update that. All right, so let's spawn this in and let's watch it in action. So I have infinite electricity on just because I don't have the electricity connected yet. But as you can see, as the boat settles in, we'll start to look into the compartments. So my fuel is full. All right, so that's adding to my weight. My water is, I don't believe it's 100% full because, so essentially what you want with a ship is you want to be able to have it so that it sits at the water line, whether it's full of fuel or not, so that as you burn fuel, you can add more water to bring the ship, to keep the ship at a constant height. So if we look really quick at the weight, come into the weight compartment here. As you can see, you can gently see the weights moving. So the weight moves in opposition to the tilt. So if the ship starts to tilt to starboard, the weight will move port. Let's add on some waves. So let's add 50% wind. And as you can see, as we rock side to side, which we're doing front to back rocking as well, you notice, see the weights pushing? And the weight's coming towards me, the weight's going away from me. So you can see the weight's actively moving to counteract the roll of the ship. So not only does this help with, see, as you can see, we're tilting starboard and the weight went port. So the weight's automatically moving to counteract the roll of the ship. So it works well for loading, but it also works well for sea states, sea conditions. So we'll even boost the wind to 100, and you'll see it work even more. See how this weight is moving in opposition? Now the weight comes all the way to us because of how much the ship is rolling. Now it's moving all the way away. Yep, so now see it caught itself, and it's starting to get better and better where it doesn't need such drastic motions. Alright, so that's an active stability system. You see it sent it all the way to port. Alright, so that's pretty much all an active stability system is. Alright, thank you for watching.